My name is Dayna Altman, and I am the creator of Bake It Till You Make It.org, which is an organization that is inspired by community, creativity, and compassion. I am the author of 2 now mental health and baking books. My most recent book I'm going to tell you about while I make some cake pops today. So the first thing I'm going to do is I took this strawberry box cake, mostly because it's pink and beautiful, and I'm gonna pour that in. So my latest book, Mix Melt Mend, Owning My Story and Finding My Freedom, is my own mental health memoir and recovery journey, living with mental illness and exploring how I found my voice and passion and advocacy. And I did this by sharing my story in the context of a recipe for cake pops. So next I'm going to add in our water, half a cup of oil, and 3 eggs. So I decided to use cake pops as a way to tell my story because I felt that while they were the first recipe that I embarked on the original mental health and resilience cookbook called Bake It Till You Make It, Breaking Bread, Building Resilience, one of the most unique part of cake pops is that you have to make the cake and take it apart only to put it back together again. And in a lot of ways, that's how I saw myself writing this book, really taking my life apart in order to better understand it and put it back once again. And I have 1 more egg to crack. No shells, but sometimes it happens, that's life, right? And now I'm gonna whisk it together. So I'm gonna take you on a journey while I make these cake pops myself. In the book, actually, what happens is every recipe step, I talk a little bit more about a different experience that I have by creating different metaphors. For example, when I talk about the oven, I am exploring my environment and how I grew up and how that's made me the person I am. When I crack the eggs, like I just did there, I talk about some difficult experiences that I've had, all which culminate and bring me back to the person I am today. So now that this is mixed well, we're gonna pour it in a pan and bake at 350 for about 20 minutes. So we took this out of the oven now, about 20 minutes later, the cake is cooled, and now we're gonna add some frosting in order to make the dough part of the cake pops. You can use a completely new pan or bowl, but in my family, we like to use one so it's less dishes, and I bet a lot of people can relate to that. So in my book, Mix Melt Mend, Owning My Story and Finding My Freedom, as I had said before, it's really about my story and my journey. Living with mental illness for so long, but really having it take a toll and become really debilitating in college. And I feel so many college students can relate to that, and this is why I'm offering several different workshops and opportunities for college students and even high school students to talk about their experiences with mental health. I think not only is it a time where something new, things are happening different, there are different stressors, but also the age when the brain's developing, this definitely becomes something that many people deal with. And just because you haven't been diagnosed with mental illness doesn't mean that you don't have mental health. We all have mental health, just like we all have physical health. We might not all have physical illness or a broken bone, but we all have physical health. And just like our doctors tell us to eat well and exercise to maintain our physical health, in order to maintain our own mental health, we have to make sure we're implementing things, utilizing self-care. And for me, my self-care is really about advocacy and sharing my own story. Of course, baking is awesome too, but I'm actually more of a mental health storyteller than I am a baker. Now that all the frosting is mixed in and I've washed my hands, I'm going to start creating like 1-inch balls of this dough. So, ooh, it feels good. So all of the balls of dough are now rolled. They're pretty big, but you can do whatever you'd like. Usually 1 inch is preferable. Now I'm gonna dip them in this melted chocolate, and usually we would also put sticks in them, hence the cake pops, but we don't have any. But that's okay, that's how life is sometimes. You just gotta roll with what you have and be grateful for it anyway, or ride out those emotions. So as I dip the chocolate in, these cake balls in the chocolate, I'm just gonna finish off by saying that yes, Mixed Melt Bend, owning my story and finding my freedom is my own story, but really I created it in hopes that you will be able to write your own story as well. Whether it's writing your own story, speaking your own story, dancing your own story, we all have a story to share, and your story matters. And I hope that you use mine as inspiration and as a launching pad to understand how important what you have to share with the world is. So please check out the book, make some cake pops, check out the website, bakeittillyoumakeit.co. Follow us on Instagram, bakeittillyoumakeit.org, or me, Dayna Altman, on Instagram as well. I'm here for you. I want to hear your story. You got this. See you next time.